Nigeria's two biggest political parties, the All Progressives Congress and the People's Democratic Party, have intensified preparations for their nomination primaries holding by the end of this month. However, the constant tinkering with the two dominant parties' electoral timetables has triggered speculations in the polity that the two parties are engaged in a strategic game plan to gain an advantage over the other, especially on how to manage the process that will lead to the emergence of their candidates at the APC and PDP presidential primaries holding in Abuja next week. Let us now try to get some daylight behind this constant tinkering by speaking with two gentlemen, a former National Vice Chairman, South of the All Progressives Congress, Chief Hilliard Etta, and Mark Jacobs, a one-time National Legal Adviser of the People's Democratic Party. You are welcome to the program, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsday. I'm going to be starting with you, Chief Etta. Can you tell us why the APC has decided to adjust its timetable for the primaries?
Thank you for having me. First of all, I cannot speak for the National Working Committee of the party, but I can suggest that it must have to do with challenges on logistics and perhaps the intellectual resources that has necessitated this change of calendar. It's quite interesting to hear you say that it could be a strategic game plan by the two parties. However, the APC is not looking over its shoulder at any party, not even the PDP. We're just doing what is necessary, I think, for the party at this point.
All right, Mr. Mark Jacobs, permit me to come in at this point. I want to hear from you concerning the PDP presidential primaries. We know that a lot was riding on the PDP, probably thinking of hosting it at the Eagle Square in Abuja, but that seems not to be the case right now. We know that the MK Abiola Stadium is one of the potential venues. Chief Hilliard Etta, let's talk about the All Progressive Congress. And as it stands right now, the hottest topic within the party has to be the issue of zoning. I want to hear your take. Which of the school of thoughts do you belong to? Do you believe that it should be thrown open? Some are talking about it being zoned to the north. Some are saying it's right. This is a time for the south. Where do you belong to?
Well, I have been here on that topic some weeks ago. And I said, and I want, for want of emphasis, let me once again say here that zoning is with us in Nigeria for now. The very reason that we are a heterogeneous society, and so we must use political offices for national building, emphasizes the fact of zoning. Like I said earlier on, I do not see the day very soon where you will have a presidential candidate and a vice presidential candidate from one part of the country on a ticket. Until that day happens, then every Nigerian has bought into the concept of zoning. Now, however, you know the kind of people that we are. When it pays us to propagate zoning, we do. When it doesn't, then we recant. For me, I think it was Governor El-Rufai who said that there is a flip in terms of positions held by Southerners in the past 8 years and positions held by Northerners. Flowing from that, one would take it that from the presidency to the national chairmanship, everything that was held by the Northerners or Nigerians of Northern origin will come back to the South. That which was held by the South will go up North. So for me, that is my understanding of the situation in my party. I cannot speak for other parties, but as you have seen, in those that have come forward to contest for the presidential ticket of the party, the preponderance is that we have Southerners. The preponderance is skewed towards Southerners. In principle, it therefore means that it has been accepted by the generality of the membership of the party, that the presidency is coming to the South.
Well, that's in principle, but in reality, will it be zoned to the Northeast or to the South?
No, I do not belong to, as I speak, I do not belong to the National Working Committee of the party, so I cannot speak authoritatively as to whether we will even consider the issue. But I am just saying that a precedent has been set by the structures of the party, flipping. For instance, the chairmanship, the national chairmanship was zoned to the South. Now it is in the North. Likewise, other party positions. And so, flowing from that, it would be natural to think or to assume that it will envelope, or it will be done in all positions, all contestable positions within the party.
Now, Mr. Jacobs, let me come to you. Some analysts believe that there seems to be some sort of hide and seek between the APC and the PDP. It seems no party is willing to unveil its presidential candidate before the other, probably trying to find out which zone the one party would give the presidential ticket to. Can you speak to us about this?
Perhaps let me go back to the first question that was thrown at me concerning the venue, the Eagle Square, another one, has been ready to hold its convention. And I know I am a member of NEC, and we had a meeting where the venue was agreed upon. Apparently, the ruling party, getting a wind of it, also fixed its convention within the same period and elected to hold the convention at the Eagle Square. So, being in government, most of these facilities are in the hands of the ruling government. And the PDP had to rethink about the venue. And that was why one of the last NEC meeting was held, and I know we contributed to the discussion to find an alternative venue in Abuja. And surprisingly, after we had agreed, the APC changed the date of its convention. And for us, it appears very clearly that the APC is interested in truncating our plans. Whenever we agree on a thing, they'll go and change their own venue or their date. And but it won't save them, because PDP is prepared. All the structures of the party have been put in place. All the delegates for the election or for the primaries have been nominated. Everything is set. But the hide and seek that comes from the ruling government is one of the most surprising aspects of this process. And back to the issue you raised, yes, truly there is a hide and seek. Once PDP takes a decision to conduct its primaries on a particular day, the APC will shift and go ahead. But we are getting to the end of it all, because going by the timetable issued by INEC, all the political parties, particularly PDP and APC, must submit their nominated candidates before the end of this month. So let's see how they'll continue to postpone. And it's fun to look at. It will be interesting to see if they will shift it again to July.
All right, Chief Hilliard Etta, permit me to piggyback on what Mark Jacob just said. A lot of people are fearful that Zamfara 2019 episode might repeat itself, whereby the APC cannot seem to come together in consensus to probably choose a date for the primaries.
Well, that is very disingenuous from Mr. Jacobs. The least problem that the APC has is the PDP. We are not interested in what they are doing. We're only interested in the issues that affect our party. For instance, we have a lot of candidates, a lot of aspirants to manage as against what is available in the PDP. They have just a few people to manage, and managing politicians is quite a task. And so we are not bothered about what the PDP is doing. It is not interesting to us. We are sure to produce a candidate of our party before the deadline set by the INEC. And by the special grace of God, he is the man that will sustain power and fix our country. For us, the PDP is of no consequence to our plans. It is of no consequence to what we have set out to do for the APC and the membership of APC.
Well, I'll have a question now for Mr. Mark Jacobs. We understand that the PDP is meeting today. Can you confirm that and tell us what that's about?
I didn't get the last part of your question.
Oh, I said that we understand that the PDP is meeting today. There's a meeting taking place. Can you confirm that? And if that is actually the case, can you tell us what it's about?
For the PDP, but there are meetings every day. We are not like some other political parties that cannot hold a simple board meeting. They cannot do NEC meeting. They cannot do anything without a crisis. PDP is busy in all the states, in all the zones. We had our zonal congress in Kaduna, for instance, the last 2 weeks. We have had our national delegates election in the last 1 week. Everything is set. But like I said, they keep shifting the goalposts, trying to find out what we are doing so that they can copy. Since 2015, they have been in government. But truly, when you say you have the problem of managing politicians, it shows really that if you cannot manage politicians, you cannot manage the country. Honestly, they have only 25 people vying for president. Okay, but that has been reduced with the withdrawal we witnessed in the last 5 days, where people who initially paid 100 million have suddenly withdrawn from the rest. Probably they didn't think about it before doling out 100 million naira to purchase presidential nomination forms. We have 15 aspirants. I don't know what my friend calls a small number of aspirants. 15 is the highest we have ever had in the PDP. And we are managing very well. And I can assure you that at the end of the day, we'll bring out a candidate that Nigerians will be satisfied with. But for them, they keep guessing whether they will bring somebody from the south or from the north. Is their biggest fear. And their biggest fear is who the PDP will present as the presidential flag bearer. But we'll encourage them to just wait and copy again. We'll have our convention on the 28th and the 29th. They can wait. When we finish, we'll give them a template to follow on how to resolve the small difficulty of managing politicians. Managing politicians is meant for politicians, not for people who come in to grab power and do not know how to handle politicians. It's very clear that the inadequacies and inefficiencies in the country are playing out even in the administration of the APC. There are challenges everywhere, every state. Before you talk of the leadership of the state, there are battles all over the place. And it's very clear that the way they have mismanaged Nigeria and drawn us to become the world capital of poverty, the headquarters of insecurity in the whole of Africa, that's the same thing they have done.
Mr. Mark Jacobs, allow me to interrupt you. You talked about the fact that the PDP has 15 presidential aspirants, which, as you have said, is the highest in the party. The APC has over 20 aspirants, which, is a record for the party as well. Now, some political analysts believe that the two parties, that is the APC and the PDP, have made a mockery of this election process with the number of aspirants vying for the presidency and the huge amount of money, paid, 50 million, for the PDP, 100 million for the APC. And then to worsen matters, after dropping this huge sum of money, some people dropped their ambition altogether to retain their current jobs. How do you explain, now this first to Chief Hilliard Etta, how do you explain this rather untidy scenario?
Mr. Jacobs can amuse himself. The APC is not interested in what the PDP is doing. And I must emphasize this. The PDP can begin to talk about people copying them. Of course, they're not talking about the APC. But let me also address the issue of the sheer number of people that have procured the presidential forms. For us, it is a new thing. It has to be researched. We need to know, even from both parties, we need to do some digging in to find out this new phenomenon, how it has come about. Because I believe that the leadership of the party had pegged that the cost of the form to dissuade people who did not have any business contesting the primaries of the presidential primaries from doing so. But it has turned out to not do what it was intended to do. It's a new thing. It has never happened in Nigeria. It is happening now. We need to look at it. We need to research and find out what exactly. But I mean, if you want to be simplistic about it, you can say that it is the lure of the fact that if you take the ticket of the party of the APC, that you're likely to win the presidency of Nigeria that has ignited the traffic to the APC for its presidential ticket. That is a very valid point. You cannot, for instance, say that people will just cough out 100 million because they want to do so. For those who have done so and have gone back to retain their ministerial seats, I believe that's what you're talking about. It is something that, like I said earlier on, has to be investigated why people should do so. I do not have the answers. I do not have the answers why anybody will bring 100 million to buy a form and then retreat because of the fear of losing a ministerial seat. I do not have the answer to that. Perhaps in future, when we would have done enough research, we will find out why people would do a thing like that. And again, you know, you hear that a lot of some people have gathered to...
Permit me to interject because we're actually running out of time so that we could just tie it off with a question to Mr. Mark Jacobs. Mr. Mark Jacobs, briefly, I want to find out from you, because we hear NEC members are lobbying the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, to attend the convention in Abuja. Talk to us. Why is this very important to have the presence of the former president there? And do you think it will probably raise the morale in the PDP?
First of all, the president, His Excellency Goodluck Jonathan, is a member of the PDP. And of course, you are all aware that some people, because they do not have materials that they can sell, are going over the hills trying to get him to wear their clothes. And the man is refusing. But you see, a man, a matured, respected Nigerian, is entitled to his choice. And being a member of the PDP family, the best or the least we can do is to encourage him to identify with the family. But like everybody has said, he has a right to say he's going to APC. Nobody will tear his clothes because of that. But the truth remains, if APC had credible, sellable candidates, they will not be rushing to beg and lobby and push Jonathan to come and contest election.
On that note, gentlemen, I'm so sorry, but I'll have to let you go. Former National Vice Chairman, South of the All Progressives Congress, Chief Hilliard Etta, and Mark Jacob, one-time National Legal Adviser of the People's Democratic Party, thank you so much for joining us on Newsday.